So let me just stop the sharing so that I can have Maple on. Maple, let's have a video. Hi, brother.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well, and you?
Very well, thank you. Okay, so this is Maple, and let me just do a very quick introduction because I think his works are being introduced properly. Maple, I believe, is resident in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Maple is the chief consultant of Mapemond Limited, a consultancy agency focused on brand development with complementary business support services. Maple is a versatile management consultant with over 10 years of experience working with different companies across almost every sector of the Nigerian economy. Maple has core areas of expertise span brand strategy, marketing, content development, and media management. At his leisure, Maple likes to write. He writes on Facebook a lot. He's a career person, branding leadership. He mentors young people also, and he also other interests in life. Maple is an enthusiast of a better Nigeria, and he notes here, I say he notes here, he's totally obedient, okay, in regards to the 2023 presidential election. He lives in the Garden City of Port Harcourt with his family. I want to say, Maple, thank you very much for joining us. I know that we have to squeeze you out of your tight schedule. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you for this. I want to assume that you are very conversant with the Hundeyin report. Are you not?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you just give a short overview or something, and then tell us how you want us to dissect it? Because I more or less invited you to help our viewers to appreciate the meaning of that report and its implication in the coming elections.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the introduction and for access to the platform, at least to share my thoughts. Concerning the report, I like to just say that I like the report, not even necessarily because of the content of the report itself, but because I see our politics. I think that David Hundeyin is doing a great job. I don't agree with every single thing that he does in terms of his approach, but he's doing a great job because that report, has enriched our political landscape already, particularly as it concerns intellectuals, because we're moving away from, regular, beer parlor approach to politics, to having intelligent conversations with regards to those who present themselves to lead us. We're having, information with regards to their antecedents, their profile, for us to be able to make informed choices. So whether you choose a particular leader or not, it's not even the point. Is at least things that you need to know, you ought to know about that very candidate, that very person. And then you went ahead to choose that person. So you make an informed decision so that tomorrow, when issues begin to come up and people say, oh, but this was said about this person, but you still chose to support this person, you won't say you didn't know. You knew because the information was presented and all of that. And I like the fact that it was not just a mere article, but it was one that had a lot of facts. Of course, anybody who objects to it has the right to, present counterfacts, and all of that, for which I haven't seen anything of such so far. Apart from that, too, I think the last thing I'd say as part of my remark before we move on with the conversation is that it's one thing to hear things about someone without knowing the details. It's one thing to have a perception about someone. So over time, a lot of people have their opinions and views about the person of Tinubu, right? But they really don't, have any clear-cut reasons or whatever. They just feel maybe uncomfortable or uneasy and all of that. So somebody comes forward to present information with facts and all of that. So people could actually, be able to base their perception on something tangible. And by all means, the same thing can be done or should be done, as a matter of fact, even for all other candidates. So people can indeed make informed choices. So I'm very glad. I like the report on the basis of what I've said so far.
All right. Okay. So I hope that we're all appreciating the fact that, because the truth of the matter is that Tinubu is actually one of the leading candidates. As obedient as we are, we know that this man is the man to beat. Okay. But I also hope that our people and maybe Maple too might appreciate the fact that we may be having a Pablo Escobar. I mean, is it Pablo Escobar now as our incoming president? Okay, so Maple, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to open up the report and probably just look at different sections, or do you have some points noted? I can share the screen and I can allow you to share from your side if you want.
No, you can share. You can share. It's fine by me. I think since you're moderating, I'm ready and prepared to go in any direction at all that you'd like it to go, because you are the captain of this ship.
Okay, so this is the report. What I did while you were away was to read through, to just run through the whole thing. I'm a storyteller, so I like the way he started it in a very captivating way about how the drug thing started in Gary, Indiana. I hope you remember that Gary, Indiana was the town where Michael Jackson was born, and his father raised him up. So it's a place that some of us know a little bit, even if we have not been there. Okay, so that's it. There's a man who appears here, a 42-year-old Lee Andrew Edwards. He's the center. He's arrested, and it is from him that it was discovered that certain people had and were actually the ones providing him the drugs. Okay, so two names will come up very prominently in the arrest of Lee Edwards. The first name is, Agbele, and then eventually we'll find out that Agbele was a cousin, I think. Oh, excuse me, let me get that right. Abiodun had earlier agreed to, so I think Agbele was the nephew to one Akonte, and so on and so forth. They said something about Southeast Asian drugs being particularly potent and probably very sought after. Okay, and at some point here they talked about the heroin effect on the city of Chicago, and how at some point there was a public health policy that said, rather than ban the whole heroin itself, why don't we curtail it by providing safe needles and so on and so forth. While you were away, I commented to those who were listening that my dad, in the 90s, early 90s, my dad was frequenting Chicago for a training in nuclear physics, radiation and all of that. And at some point, somebody approached him and asked him if he could carry drugs into Chicago for him, that he was going to get a lot of money, but my dad said that he had to turn it down, number one, because of his children, and number two, because of his name. I think number three, because as a government worker, he was earning a little bit, not too much, and so forth. So is there anything you want to comment on this so far? I hope I've not jumped anything that is important.
It's fine so far.
Okay, so we have the, in the meantime, the Nigerian-led heroin trade in Chicago fed a heroin addiction, or an epidemic that became so bad that it changed local health and law enforcement agents, their practices. Okay, and then eventually they began to say they moved from no heroin at all to safely using heroin.
Yeah.
Yes. And all of that was as a result of the ring of Nigerians who were providing heroin to this. Okay. Okay, so here we have some money. Okay, so here we have the introduction of the accountant. The accountant is said to have been earning $2,400 a month, you know, but at some point he was able to deposit 1.4 million into his bank account. Okay, and here we have a picture of the accountant. At some point he had some $1.8 million in his kitty, and it was about the time he went and he ran for Senate. Reads in a quote. Fast forward a bit further, in the same year, I believe that should be 1992, and he will successfully run for office in Nigeria as a senator for Lagos West. Then another politician said to have ties to international drug trafficking will successfully run for president in Nigeria on a controversial all-Muslim ticket. He's referring to MQ Abiola at that point. Okay, so the election was that the Nigerian government, the narcotic distributors are listening. Mapu, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. My internet was saying poor here. The accountant will return a hero and success. Okay, I will read this. Okay, so here we have the beginning of the story of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He said to and you know, the truth of the matter is that the first 20 years of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually a mystery. Nobody knows anything about it. You know, the just concluded election in Osun State has also further shed light on his origin, because everybody is saying that the governor that has just been ousted, or the outgoing governor, is his cousin, you know, from Irabiji in Osun State. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to have a president. You know, one of the things that those of us who were say Buhari in those days, in 2015, we used to put on our heads was that we could tell the whole story, life of Buhari, where he was born, how his father died, how his mother died, how he went to live with his uncle, how he joined the army, you know, the answer, you know. But here we have a president that we do not know his first or a purported, or sorry, I don't know. So there it is. Any comment on this so far?
No, so far so good.
Okay, so we have age controversy. We have age controversy over there. He spent 2 years getting an associate degree. Okay, so when he got to Chicago, that was what happened. And he has 3 kids. Sorry, there's something about some money here. Okay, in 2016 interview with the news, Tinubu claimed that his break into the financial big something came when he worked for Deloitte & Touche, after he had worked with a Saudi state-owned oil firm and earned $850,000 as bonus. So this is the comment in the news. But David was able to show, can you analyze this? You are the management person. Can you analyze this?
The implication of this is that currently from David's research and what he presents as like the maximum anybody can actually possibly earn, you know, from this analysis here, that's for a consulting partner. And of course, the submission says that this accountant didn't get to the level of a consulting partner.
Oh yeah, a consulting partner will be somebody at the level of like part owner.
Yeah, exactly, at management level. So bottom line is, okay, let's leave whatever position it was that the accountant held and even go to the consulting partner's position. Yeah. The maximum anybody can possibly earn is $575,000. That's the submission there. So the question is, if that's the maximum, how come, you know, as far back as in the 80s, someone who was not at such a level would earn as much as $850,000.
And his monthly salary was known. It was $2,400.
Exactly. You know, so that figure is obviously very, very questionable. You know, and that's why I said I like the article, because the article is not a mere opinion, but it has all of these facts, you know, to guide us, even for those of us who didn't even know all of these details. You know, that's why I say it's very informative. You know, I mean, it's enlightened us a great deal. So regardless of one's stance as per the content of the article itself, no honest person would argue the fact that it was quite enlightening within this.
Okay. We have a hand raised by Taufik Ajibade. He has actually been with us from the beginning. So,
okay, yes, I can see that there.
Yes. Taufik, can you unmute your mic and please maybe make your point or ask your question. Please make it very short and then we'll continue.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm actually surprised. And one of the questions I wanted to ask has just been answered. I wanted to ask about the salary that was so high that it could earn $850,000 as bonus. Now, my real question is the $575,000 that you mentioned as the highest anyone could earn. Is it now or then? I mean, that value, is the value for now or then back in the 80s for a consulting partner?
Okay, that question is noted. Thank you very much. Mapo.
Yeah, I think it's now. If I still remember what I read from David, and actually even went out from the article, you know, because sometimes when you read an article that you're enjoying, right, you get lost in the perspective of the writer. So you actually fail, in all honesty, to question certain things because the story is so good and you get on and you wouldn't know when you slip into the error of just believing everything. So I actually had to go, you know, out of the article to go and actually browse. And I saw that these figures, you know, the one in the screenshot here were actually true, you know, and it's a good thing that we're talking about organizations and, you know, to an extent societies that make this information available. It is it's not a mystery, it's open. So anybody at all with a smartphone and with internet can just browse and find these numbers.
Yes, some of the tweets that you sent to me, Mapo, was saying that some of the websites are actually almost shutting down because Nigerians are thronging them to get to confirm those details.
Exactly. People are researching. That's why I said that this article has done a fantastic job. It has indeed added a lot of value to our political landscape because people are going to find out by themselves. People are actually researching. You see it. Once you just type it on, even on your Google search, the next thing, if you're typing from Nigeria anyway, at least you see that it just helps you to complete the sentence there as well too.
Exactly. So Mapo, permit me to shed another light to that question. I think that this 575,000 might be the amount then, you know, because the way
you can scroll up a bit. Sorry, you can scroll up a bit. I think it was mentioned there just before the screenshot.
Okay, just before the screenshot.
Somewhere there, yeah.
For anyone with even a passing knowledge of corporate consulting remuneration, the categorical dishonesty in the screenshot above needs no explanation. For everyone else, here is the current breakdown of the current.
Exactly.
Current. So that's it. But what he was saying is that as of that time in the 80s, $850,000 is actually now 2.3 million. Okay.
Wow.
So Taufik, I hope that question has been answered. Mapo, let's try to cover probably go to. Thank you. Let's try to cover this and probably go to that refutation. I think it was a weak one, but it's the only one I saw people passing around. So I thought we should handle it. Okay. While the interview. Okay. Sorry. Let's just go on. So basically, most of this report here, I think, is the report by, what's this one? Let's look at this. Uploaded.
I think it's one of the court orders.
Okay, the court orders. Yes. Yeah. There was an agent most that eventually came out with some summaries that Hundeyin reported in in bullet points.
Okay.
Can you remember that?
Yes.
I think these are the bullet point, the US.
Yes.
I think this is the report itself, right?
Yes.
This is the report, the one that we have here. This report here, I think that's it.
Yeah.
This is very, very thorough. Okay, and eventually they
and can I make an observation? Because
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, in all of these, right? When I tried to search, I didn't see anywhere where responses were given to these things, making reference to documents.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean. So yeah, we can see documents that are actually available that anybody else can search for online. But in all of the responses that I've seen, there are no documents being presented.
Yes, 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 yes. So this is it. Now, let's go to that report that I talked to you about. I sent it to you earlier. So this person is saying Hundeyin is reporting old wives' tales. So we just take it paragraph by paragraph. The only set of people who think there's any kind of smoking gun with which to nail Bola Tinubu in the rehash of the old wives' tales David Hundeyin concocted, which Hundeyin concocted, are the same people who never see anything good in Tinubu. It needs to be asked how anyone could think the FBI and DEA will allow a drug dealer or a man running a drug cartel to go scot-free without conviction, as well as leave him to go and live a lush life in the proceeds of crime. I think that there's something wrong with this line, in the sense that there's nowhere in that report that said that Tinubu was a drug dealer or even a drug cartel. What the report said was that he worked along with these people. He probably provided services for which he was paid sumptuously. You know, so when eventually the FBI came down on him, they came as a result of the fact that they had arrested one man who led them to two other Nigerians, who eventually led them to Tinubu as the accountant of those Nigerians. So that's what I think. Or what do you think, Mapo?
Yes, I think that, you know, as much as I respect the fact that different persons will have their views, I think that this author is not a honest person. And why did I say so? From the introductory statement, even before this first paragraph, he says that, yes, he says that the old wives' tales, blah, 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 by David Hundeyin is concocted. Now, you don't, conclude for that report to be something that has been concocted in the face of obvious documents, not one, not two, not three.
Yes.
Right? In the face of even the court judgments with actual references, which a lot of us actually went to check independently on our own. And then you come and then you refer to it as concocted. I mean, who do we now believe between you and the David? It's obviously the David.
No, between you and the clear-cut reports that we're seeing now.
Exactly. I mean, you know, now you now move on to say, how would anyone think that the FBI and all of that will let him go scot-free, whatever? But the report says that there are some you know, dangerous drug dealers that these agencies wanted to get to.
Yes. And
they were desperately in need of information, as much information as they could get to them.
Yes.
Now, everybody who knows at least a little about, you know, how drug rings work. Of course, if you're not one, you wouldn't know the inside details unless you're probably maybe a secret agent or something. But at least the more that we know, we can actually say that they definitely have a lot of other people that they work with. There are people who come to supply them something as basic as water. Yes. So the same way too, they will engage the services of, you know, professionals and all of that. So in this case, there's an accountant that works with them. They also maybe have an architect that works with them because they build houses, they remodel houses. Yeah. So they have a caterer who works with them and stuff like that. So if these agencies were able to get hold of the man who handles their money, which is very critical, right, to their operations, and then they made an offer, they made the offer, right? to say,
Yes.
come, if you can give us information, every single thing, I mean, there was a bargain rather.
Yes, they actually forfeit. I mean, he forfeited at almost $500 million.
It is
and
there.
went away with $1
So
million.
to say, okay, yes. So if you can give us information about these people, we're going to cut you some slack. It is done. It is not. This is not the. It's done.
Yes, 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 yes. So we are talking about the same man who goes in and out of the U.S. since 1992. He usually resides in the U.S. So this doesn't count because it has clearly been stated that the court case there had reached an agreement.
Exactly.
He was to forfeit a certain amount and so on. And he also it was a time of the Abacha period was actually a very grim time. And anybody that was on the side of democracy was actually considered a hero in the West.
Which the report stated.
Sorry?
I said, which the report stated.
Yes,
the report
yes.
stated that as well.
Yes. Okay, so Asiwaju Tinubu had gone to okay, all of that has been, we have noted that. Yet he was not a subject of interest. He cannot be a subject of interest of the FBI and the DEA now because issues have been sorted out between himself and them. We know the kind of efforts there's something else he mentioned somewhere. He's talking about Atiku. Tinubu has been traveling. So you can see how this guy spent a lot of his time just focusing on the fact that Tinubu has no issues with law enforcement in the US. And he has no issues with law enforcement in the US because he had actually come to something like a plea bargain with them. Okay, here are 3 key issues of common sense and rational thinking. Number 1, the US will not settle any case of drug and other narcotics dealings with money where a prima facie case is established against a drug baron. You want to comment on that?
Well, yes, we've actually talked about it already. They've negotiated, and all of that,
Yes, and Tinubu was not the drug baron. He just
I think maybe because David used the title drug lord. Of course, he's a writer. So he
will use something to
yes, he used some level of a bit of sensationalism into the title.
Yeah.
But when you read the entire thing, of course, it wasn't the person that they were actually after. It was only was an agent.
Second point, the US government will never allow a drug dealer to go with any amount from proceeds of crime. Obviously, in this case, the democracy thing worked in Tinubu's favor.
Yes, and besides, he was also working at the time too, so he had a bit of his own money, and all of that. So yes, and I'm sure that if we get further information and details, it becomes a lot clearer. But
yes,
the timing, the timing
all of those
also
things will lend legitimacy to him.
Yeah, exactly, and the timing also plays a role, because the whole democracy movement thing and all that coincided with, all of these. So at the end of the day, if they are trying to place priority over an issue that has to do with democracy and all, and is on the side of democracy, I mean, they could tap. That's what we call a tap on the wrist, isn't it?
Yeah. Number 3, a man that has not been convicted of any crime in any country and jurisdiction of the world cannot be convicted by a disgruntled investigative journalist. If the US allowed Tinubu to go free without conviction of any drug crime and other crimes, it means the FBI and DEA, and indeed all law enforcement agencies, including the IRS, had no evidence upon which Tinubu can be found guilty. Okay, so I think you have sorted out the fact that this person is not being honest, calling David a disgruntled, but it's okay. He has to write something for his paymaster. Hundeyin knows his audience and how excitable and unquestionable they can be. With his misdirected crap on Tinubu, the investigative journalist has again served his unthinking audience their regular opium. Okay, so one of the things I noticed about this report was, after you had gone through a long report like that of Hundeyin, you expect that if somebody is going to pose a rebuttal of it, he wants to take time to look at every section. you know, and I mean, he just overlooked so many things. The finances of the family, you know, there was some point where accounts were opened by both Tinubu and his wife, and so on and so forth.
Even the bonus that was being questioned. In other words, he didn't address the facts, right? The article did not say that Tinubu is a fugitive who is on the run and the FBI and all of that are after him. It didn't say all of that. It's saying that this man has this kind of history. It's the history that was being presented. You know, it wasn't a case of an ongoing case of you know, Tinubu having a crime case to answer to and all of that. It's saying this is the history of this man in the face of, you know, a major part of his history not being known, right? So the part that is known is being presented, you know, for the people he's hoping, you know, to serve. If I'd use that term as president, they're asking questions.
Yes.
Yeah, so if your history as basic as primary school and all of that isn't known, and then there's a history that has to do with you being involved with drug dealers, people would ask questions, as simple as that.
Yeah.
And that was not addressed at all.
Yeah, so one of the graphics you sent to me, based on traffic to plain sight over the past week, Nigeria's interest in Bola Tinubu's money laundering dwarfs global interests in Elon Musk. Right, that's interesting. Let's look at another one. Okay, David Hundeyin. Okay, so this plain sight reaching David with a tweet. David Hundeyin, what are the chances that someone unhappy about the court's records on our website made a false report of malicious software on the page to Google? We have never had a report like this before. There is no malicious software. Sorry, there is no malicious software, of course. Do you understand what this is talking about?
Yes, yes. Bottom line is that, you know, they are choosing their words carefully because this is Twitter. But bottom line is that somebody has tried to attack their website. That's somebody has tried to attack their website, and David is submitting that it's somebody from Tinubu's camp, because this is a site that has, according to them, I think over 14 million court dockets.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a platform that houses such records, and they have over 14 million of it. And never in their history have they experienced any court docket, you know, having this kind of issue, you know, where somebody is reporting that a particular one has a malicious, you know, whatever. And they're saying that, no, this has never happened before. And why is it happening with regards to this Tinubu's own court docket, you know, at a time when it is a subject of conversation? Well, the summary of it all, for those who at least understand the basics of IT, is that somebody is just trying to play around that stuff to see how they can get it out of the site, because that's glaring evidence. And it states, I don't know if I sent that to you, it states clearly, when you see that document, it states clearly, you know, that he actually had to forfeit funds to the US government. And the reason for forfeiting the funds has to do with drug-related matters. It is stated there on the document and on that website. So in the face of such hard evidence, I mean, the only thing that anybody will try to do is to see how they can delete it from the website. But unfortunately, it's a secured website, and that effort did not work.
Wow, that's interesting. Let me just quickly go to Facebook and see if we have any comment over there. Just 1 minute, please. Max, you are muted yourself now. Do you have a question? Matthew has been helping to keep sanity on the.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we don't have any comment. All right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I think that's about it. Mapo. So what do you want to say? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to read that document, you know, just for the benefit of those who may not have looked at it. You know, the document, this court record states that nature of suit, drug-related seizure of property. In other words, apart from the fund, the money he had for some properties, Nigerian website, a Nigerian platform where you see that. Okay, could this be my network? Hello, please, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mapo.
Oh, okay. All right, and it states there, the office that handled this matter is the Chicago office. It was filed on the 26th day of July, 1993. You know, stated clearly there, down to the jurisdiction, the nature of the matter, when the case was closed. Because these things were stated there. The case was closed on the 4th of October, that 1993 as well too. And then it's even stated there if the case was reopened, and it says none. It was not, the case was not reopened, you know, which is in line with what David had written with regards to the settlement.
Yes.
That was yes, that was reached. So they are verifiable, you know, documents to this effect. And you cannot say we should turn our eyes away from it, you know, for someone who is asking, you know, to lead us as president. We definitely can't turn our eyes away from it. We definitely would have to ask these questions, because as of today, documents are also coming online. I've not been able to confirm it, because one has to be careful as well too, this period, because people could easily fabricate stuff and put online. But things are actually coming up that the actual age of Tinubu is 87. And effort is being, yes, an effort is being made to change all of that across all platforms, Wikipedia and everywhere where it appears, you know. But different sources are coming up, you know, of screenshots that people are taking before this time, you know, confirming that, you know, it's 87. But we can't even confirm that, because there are no birth certificates, you know, no primary school evidence. There are things that we could use to trace. I mean, if you have your WAEC result, your WAEC result will carry a date. We carry a date on it, and then between the time, the date on your first school leaving certificate and your WAEC, this thing, people can be able to at least do the mathematics to have an idea. But when none of such exists, nobody can actually confirm. So if people are asking questions, and in fact, the absence of this information actually even leaves room for people to come up with all kinds of things, and you have to answer. So we're looking forward to, you know, to further engagement, because these questions will be asked, whether debate or during campaign and all of that. The questions will be asked, and I will not be surprised to see that the questions will be evaded, which will further give credibility to all David has said.
But unfortunately, we still have an electorate that is not a thinking electorate, where debates don't work in this climate. You know, we have had people that are elected and they attend debates. You know, it's I mean, I keep remembering what Pastor Adesomi said when he said that as if our leaders purposely deprived Nigerians of education so that they can
I believe so. I believe so myself.
All right, okay, let me just take comments or questions from Chiago. Thank you for being with us from the beginning. Matthew, thank you for the help. And Tofi, thank you for the question. If you have a comment, if not, we're going to take a closing comment from Mapo, and we'll call it a day. And we'll wish Nigeria. You may also comment on Peter Obi, although of course he also is under a lot of scrutiny, but probably tell us why you are supporting him. So Chiago, you have a comment? Matthew? Sophie? Okay, so if there's no comment from either of you, Mapo, let's have a closing remark and bring the broadcast to an end.
Okay, yes, what I'll say is that I'm very positive that you know, it's very possible for Peter Obi Of course, he has a lot of work to do, and there are lots of concerns, with regards to the civil service, with regards to the National Assembly and all of that. But for every single day that we leave our houses, none of us actually even know whether we'll get back home safely. So all of a sudden, we're sounding so confident as though we're omniscient. We know the end from the beginning. All of a sudden, but we really don't know. I mean, even this night, not all of us know how many of us will wake up tomorrow morning.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I don't know if by midnight I will start running a fever, or if any of my children at home will run, and all of that. So we don't really know. We can't tell. Let's deal with what is before us first, and then we'll deal with what is ahead. Yeah. And the argument for me is not that Peter Obi is perfect. I mean, it would be quite foolhardy for anyone to think that any human being on the surface of the earth, is perfect. So I think it's actually even mischievous when people try to say things like that. That is not the point at all. But we've always clamored for people of sound values, people of sound moral ethics, people with good ideals. Now, we've never said that these people will be angels or that they will be perfect, but at least these are things that they believe in, and to a significant extent, they live by the things that they verbalize. Yes. And we're seeing someone before us, who has lived by a lot of the things that he says. So how do we live in and then begin to choose the ones that cannot even stand to say, this is the primary school that I attended, and these are the people who were my classmates and all of that? It doesn't make any sense to me. So this is one of the times I get to realize that respecting somebody's opinion, I think I need to actually find a better way to caption it, because the fact that I let you be with your choice does not actually mean that I truly respect, because at some point I actually think that some choices are actually foolish, right? But I can't force my own choice on you. That kind of a situation, that's where we find ourselves. But this is what we've always clamored for, and it's before us. I think that a president like Peter Obi would actually be more of a people's president. The reason is because if Peter Obi is not performing well, the people who are the first people the people supporting Peter Obi right now. I mean, just like when they stood against Jonathan, for goodness sake, these same people voted Jonathan in 2011, right? And then from 2012, when Jonathan suddenly did the fuel subsidy stuff and took everybody by surprise on a day like New Year Day, when Nigerians are so emotionally attached to New Year Day, and then you suddenly, spring up that kind of stuff. The same people who voted for him just a year ago in 2011, they came out to the street with mattress and all of that. And for me, I learned something from that. When people come out to support you, they are the people who are actually in the position to question you. If a Tinubu or an Atiku become president, we can't really question them. We can't really hold them accountable. Why? Because they paid their way through.
Yes. Yes.
They settled although they needed to settle.
Yes.
So that gives them the confidence not to feel answerable, because they have to recover their monies, and all of that. And then the people who they paid will not join the protests and all of that, because those ones thought that they were settled. But a Peter Obi will be a people's president. So it's not a case of he's suddenly going to turn Nigeria into Dubai. No, it's a case of anytime he messes up, people will hold him accountable. They'll go and stand in front of Aso Rock and say, we put you there. And that is what is meant by the people holding the power. That's what it means. It means by power balancing. When the people can, protest without being afraid of being shot. And Peter Obi has stirred a lot of people who are ordinary. I mean, I've been on the passive side politically. Even in my state where I have a lot of political concerns, I've, gotten to a point of just letting the politicians be and all of that. But the fact that, a Peter Obi's candidacy is stirring up even those that ordinarily would not discuss politics, it shows that there is a concern. It shows that people are indeed tired and they've gotten to the limit. I mean, people are living in their multitude, and they're not really enjoying it. It's not so exciting. Everybody I speak with, every Nigerian that I speak with who is abroad, right, still have that connection with home. But home is disappointing, and we have a chance to see if we can get the ship back on track. I mean, in all good conscience, I just have to do this for posterity's sake, and that's my stance.
All right.
And I'm ready, even if it doesn't win. Even if it doesn't win, I still stand by my conviction that he's the best candidate. But I'm very, hopeful and positive that he's going to win it, free and fair. Let's leave it free and fair. He's going to win it.
And we should also be thankful to INEC that is increasingly giving us confidence towards the electoral process. And maybe I should use this opportunity for Ed to tell every young person and invite every Nigerian to go and get their PVCs. We still have up to the end of this month. So we still have some, I believe, 11 days. Please bombard INEC, get yours. When I went to register and do my transfer, and including those who came to register, I didn't spend up to 15 minutes and I was done. You know, the guys there at INEC are doing a great job registering people. Please, let's pray for Nigeria and let's do all that we can to see a better country. Thank you, Maple, for
I like to make one last remark, which is I think is an appeal actually, that I know that tempers are flaring, you know, we're all emotional about all of these, but let's keep it decent. It's very important because at this time, those in the other camps are looking for all kinds of things, you know, to use as an excuse or as an argument. But please, so let's just keep it decent. Let's also keep it objective as much as possible. Even though you hate the devil, and even though the devil is the devil, a lie will still be a lie if you lie against the devil. So a lie would never be justified because it's the devil you lied against. So let's still keep it objective and sane so that way we can all keep a clear conscience. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the final word to the obedient crew. Please, let's keep it neat. Thank you very much, Maple, for coming on the show. It's not a show like I just thought I needed to have this discussion because I shared something on Facebook and people were calling me all over and telling me, don't share it, or don't do this. What are you saying? This is a report everybody should be studying, and you people are saying, what are you saying? Anyway, thank you, Maple. Greetings to your lovely family, and I hope that you will, you'll be able to heed our invitation the next time we extend it. Perhaps I should also say that I sent out invitations to 4 people, only got 1 person who could come and speak. So all of those people were obedient people, you know, but we thank God that some of us cannot be intimidated. Thank you very much, Shotola. Thank you, Chiago, for being online, and Ejibade for hanging out. And for those of us who are on Facebook, God bless you, and bye-bye.